Imagine sitting alone in your room late at night. The blue light of a TV or monitor covering your entire face. You press play on a strange videotape people keep talking about. A well, a chair, a woman with long black hair, distorted images that make no sense. And then the phone rings. 7 days. But what makes the ring truly terrifying is not just the ghost or the deaths. It's the question hiding underneath everything. What if media itself is cursed? What if some images are not simply watched, but absorbed into the human mind? And maybe the scariest part is this film was made more than 20 years ago. Before social media, before short-form content, before algorithms learned how to trap human attention. But now, we're living inside that curse. The film begins with the deaths of 4 teenagers. And that detail matters. Because the movie doesn't say they opened an ancient tomb. It doesn't say they summoned a demon through a ritual. They simply watched something.
Do you think maybe she was into...
It's not about that. It's about the tape.
That's it. And that's exactly what the film wants us to fear in the modern world. The most dangerous thing might only be an image. And maybe while watching this video, you're already thinking about it too. How many images exist that never truly leave our minds? The movie is filled with screens. Televisions are everywhere. People constantly staring at something. Blue light, silence, passive observation. There's even a small scene many people overlook. Rachel looks across the apartment buildings from her balcony. Almost every single window has a television glowing inside. Cartoons, shows, noise, flickering images. But among all those apartments, there's one balcony with no television at all. Just a lonely woman standing there, wearing what almost looks like a hospital gown. And it feels like the film is whispering something terrifying. Maybe the only sane person is the one disconnected from a screen. That's one of the darkest ideas inside this movie. Media is not presented as entertainment. It feels more like hypnosis, something slowly consuming the human mind. And Samara. Samara Morgan is the physical embodiment of that fear. She's not just a revenge ghost. Her true power is not killing people. Her power is transmitting images into human consciousness. She plants visions inside people's minds. Distorted memories, nightmares, symbols, a well, water, a burning tree, a fly, a chair. And then the victims themselves become part of the cycle. In many ways, Samara behaves less like a spirit and more like a media virus. She spreads trauma through imagery. And now the terrifying question becomes, how many things online already do the exact same thing to us? Violent videos, fear-based news, disturbing clips, doom scrolling, images that invade your mind and refuse to leave. The film somehow predicted that the future of horror would emerge directly from screens, which is why the most iconic scene in the movie still works today. When Samara crawls out of the television. That moment is not just a jump scare. It destroys the boundary between media and reality. Something you believed was safely trapped inside a screen suddenly enters the real world. And honestly, today that scene feels even more real than it did in 2002. Because now screens are everywhere. In our pockets, on our beds, at dinner tables, beside us before sleep, beside us when we wake up. We no longer simply consume media. We live inside it. But one of the saddest parts of the film is Samara's family. Anna Morgan loved horses. She connected with animals. But she could never truly connect with her own daughter. And the horses in the movie are deeply symbolic. Every time Samara's presence becomes stronger, the horses panic. Almost as if animals can sense something humans cannot. Maybe the horses represent instinct itself. Nature, a primal awareness untouched by media. While humans have become numb. Even the horrifying horse scene on the ferry is not just there for shock value. It feels like the collapse of natural order itself, as if Samara's curse disrupts reality on a deeper level. But maybe the horses carry an even darker meaning. In Jungian psychology and dream symbolism, horses often represent raw life force, instinct, and the uncontrolled parts of the human psyche. And black horses, especially, can symbolize death, psychological collapse, disease, or something dark growing beneath the surface. Which makes the violent death of the black horse in the ring feel even more disturbing. It's almost as if the horse senses the curse before the humans do. Like a body detecting illness before the mind understands what's happening. And Samara's curse behaves exactly like a disease. It enters quietly, spreads invisibly, consumes the victim from inside. And once you realize you're infected, it's already too late. In Jungian interpretations, the death of a horse can symbolize the collapse of vitality itself, or the domination of the psyche by what Jung called the shadow. And Samara feels exactly like that. Not just a ghost, but a dark shadow created by modern humanity. A manifestation of buried fear, trauma, and media contamination. Which is why the horse falling from the ferry feels so horrifying. It's not simply an animal dying. It feels like instinct, nature, and the human soul collapsing together. And maybe the film is quietly telling us something terrifying. Before our minds understood the danger, our instincts already sensed it. But the most important question is this. Was Samara truly evil? Or was she simply a child nobody understood? The film never gives a clear answer. And that ambiguity makes everything more disturbing. Because slowly we realize Samara was once a victim herself. An isolated child. Rejected. Misunderstood. Filled with horrifying images she could not control. And now, that pain must spread. Almost like generational trauma passing from one person to another. The movie seems to suggest pain that is never healed multiplies.
No.
One of the smartest aspects of The Ring is how it completely destroys the traditional horror formula. Rachel believes that if she uncovers the truth, the curse will end. That's what usually happens in horror stories. Find the body. Learn the backstory. Understand the ghost. Free the spirit. But this movie refuses to do that. When Rachel discovers Samara's body, she believes she saved her. But in reality,
She's not gonna hurt you. She
only opened the door wider.
Don't you understand, Rachel?
And this is where the film becomes truly terrifying. Some things do not stop once they are understood. Some pain becomes more powerful once it is seen. Exactly like media. We think watching something gives us control over it. But sometimes the act of watching is what infects us in the first place. And maybe this is the central fear of the entire movie. What if certain forms of media are not harmless at all? What if some images permanently reshape human psychology? What if algorithms already know exactly what frightens us? What depresses us? What keeps us emotionally trapped?
All right.
Rachel's son, Aiden Keller, also plays an important role. Unlike the adults, he truly senses Samara.
You say she died 3 nights ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Aiden drew these last week.
Children in psychological horror often represent minds that are still emotionally open, still sensitive, still capable of feeling what adults ignore. The adults try to rationalize everything. But Aiden immediately understands something is deeply wrong.
I don't have enough time.
And maybe that's another hidden message inside the film. We have become so accustomed to endless imagery that we no longer recognize what it's doing to our minds. But the ending is the most horrifying part of all.
Go to your room! Now!
Not because of death, not because of Samara, but because of the solution. Rachel survives only after copying the tape and passing it to another person. To stay alive, she must spread the curse. She must reproduce the infection. And that is exactly how modern media works. Fear spreads, anxiety spreads, hatred spreads, trauma spreads, and each person passes it to the next. The movie almost feels like a prophecy about the internet age. And maybe that's why The Ring still feels so disturbing after all these years. Because today, we are more surrounded by images than ever before. Hundreds of videos every day, endless scrolling, constant stimulation, and many of those images never truly leave us. Maybe Samara's curse was fictional, but the idea behind it wasn't. The idea that images can enter the human mind, change it, and then spread through other people. That is no longer just horror fiction. That is modern life. A world where the line between media and reality grows thinner every single day. And maybe the scariest question the film leaves us with is this. If the screens suddenly went dark, would we still remember how to live without them?